Abby award-winning Auburn Opelika this morning on News Talk, WANI, part of the Auburn Network family of stations.
This is the Big Screen Movie Review, brought to you by your Auburn and Opelika Domino's, the official delicious pizza of the Auburn Tigers.
You just had to throw that delicious in, didn't you?
You told me to do that.
Do it in so that I would just as soon run over there as. Anyway, you know what I'm going to do as soon as this show's over? I'm headed to Domino's. And it's early. I'll sit outside and wait. I'm going to go there because
at 8 o'clock in the morning, you're going to go to Domino's.
I am.
Okay.
And because there's not a wrong time to go to Domino's.
Okay.
And I may just sit there and play with my app and just start ordering things for my friends.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
I sure might.
Are we your friends?
You are.
Really?
I said I
How about
may.
that?
I said I may, in spite of how you treat me. And if you want some Domino's for your friends or yourself, you can call 749-7101 in Opelika. You can call 821-3030 in Auburn. You can use the very cool Domino's app, which incidentally can get you some free pizza. If I walk up, I'm up to about 25 now. If I walk up to
25 what?
And I say, do you have the Domino's app on your smart device, and you hold it up and show it to me, I will hand you a free Domino's pizza. I've probably had 25 folks in the last 3 or 4 weeks that have responded affirmatively to that.
You're not actually handing them the pizza. You're handing them the certificate.
A certificate. Right. That's right, because I like them to choose their topping.
Sure.
But it's a large one-topping pizza. I've had a number of folks at the movie theaters, the 2 theaters that have won. I've had a number who haven't and said, darn, wait, I'm downloading it now. And I say, well, good, you may win next time.
Good.
But get that app on your phone and be ready for the question and win you a pizza.
Tough luck, kid. Now leave me alone.
Hey, no, I say it with a smile.
Okay.
I'm not angry.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You're a full of mercy, man.
I am.
Yeah.
I am that guy. I'm full of mercy.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of being full of mercy.
All right.
You know, when I don't have a transition, that's what I always use.
Sometimes don't even try it. Just go.
Fit.
Hey, how about the top 10?
Hey, all right.
Yeah.
How about the top 10?
Yeah.
Number 1, speaking of mercy. Oh, I can't help myself. Yeah. Number 1, opening at number 1 this week. First time something's knocked Suicide Squad out of the top place after 4 weeks is Don't Breathe. You all sitting there going, I know we talked about it. I know there was a movie called that. There was something about Don't Breathe.
You said Don't Breathe. I didn't breathe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, good. Well, let me try that again. I had no idea it would work. Hey, Don't Breathe. Talk to you in an hour. Number 2 was Suicide Squad. Number 3, don't be laughing and trying to not breathe. Number 3 was Kubo and the Two Strings. Number 4 was Sausage Party, opening at number 5. This had to be a disappointment for these guys. Although, well, yeah, it just had to be a disappointment. Was Mechanic Resurrection, the Jason Statham new one.
Yeah.
Number 6 was Pete's Dragon. Number 7, after just 2 weeks, guys, War Dogs dropped from 3 to 7. That one also has to be a bit of a disappointment.
Not surprised.
No, and word's gotten out that it's not what you expect.
It's not the comedy that you thought it was going to be by the previews that we saw.
Right? Exactly, and that's a good catch. Number 8 is Bad Moms. Number 9 is Jason Bourne, and number 10 is Little Benny Hur. And that's our top 10.
Speaking of disappointing movies.
Disappointing dollars, for
yes,
sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, $100 million. They thought they were making a classic faith-based film. That is the most spent on a faith-based movie. And right now it's at $19 million, about $30 million worldwide, but it won't make its money. And
wow.
Burnett can afford to do that, especially because he uses somebody else's money. But when you compare that to the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time and faith-based film that is about $750 million in ticket sales, being The Passion of the Christ,
I'll be honest with you, though, Kevin,
$30 million.
I didn't see it marketed as a faith-based film in watching the previews.
And I think to an extent that's what's hurt them. But to another extent, being at $20 million in the U.S., there's not many faith-based movies make much more than that anyway.
I think they were relying on the fact that it was the Ben-Hur name, and that movie was put out in 1959.
Right.
There aren't enough people around that saw it the first time that say, "Hey, I'd like to see a remake of it."
I saw it opening weekend.
Okay.
As a 1-year-old.
Okay. What I'm saying is, but what I'm saying is,
that's right.
It had that movie been done 20 years ago, that's one thing.
There's
That's a good point.
There's an amazing number of people as well that I've asked, did you see the original Ben-Hur? Who say, no, I've seen clips from it. All of them have seen the chariot. I've seen the chariot thing and stuff. They never even saw the original, which incidentally won. I think it still holds a record for number of Oscars for a movie.
Correct. I think it was like 11. 11 Oscars.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a bunch. It's also known for killing more animals than any other movie. Here's another one I'll throw in because we talked about it last week. Opening at number 16 is the Roberto Duran biopic film Hands of Stone.
Yeah, that's got to be disappointing.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Because that's been marketed pretty hard.
It does, yeah. And it was only on 810 screens, though. And we're going to talk about another one that opened because we need to talk about it. We missed it. And we're going to talk about it after the break here on the Big Screen Movie Reviews. Hey, guys, opening on 340 screens this past weekend in 19 theaters. And I'm going to have to say, this is a first for us. We missed it. It was Andy's job to know what was opening, and I'm going to have to tell you, guys.
Come on, Andy.
He missed it. Yeah.
Come on, man.
And this idiot just deleted it. But it was a movie called Greater. Heard anything about it?
No.
Or are you like everybody else on the planet? This movie was supposed to open in January. They bumped the opening back, and on August 16th, they announced it would. They didn't even announce. It was just came up on their website that it would open August 26th. So, guys, it was an awful marketing job, if I can be that honest with you. This is about, you're going to know as soon as I tell you because you're sports guys. In 1990-something, 4, I think, there was a kid that was recruited by Arkansas, sort of, to be a walk-on.
It's a Burlsworth story.
It is, yeah. He was a walk-on who was considered too fat and too slow and not really smart enough, and turned out to be a 2-time All-SEC, a 1-time All-American, 3rd-round draft pick by the Indianapolis Colts, a kid who lived a model life.
Yes.
And just there's an award given in his. Actually, there's a number of awards given out in his name to high school players, a couple of college. The top college walk-on every year gets the Brian Burlsworth Award. I mean, this great story. Saw the movie. Nobody knew it was opening. I took my grandson, who's a little football player, and we saw it. And now we're starting to take area high school football teams.
Tragically, he was killed in an auto accident before he could even go to training camp with the Colts, if I'm not mistaken.
11 days after being drafted.
Yeah.
Went to a mini camp, was penciled in as the starter for the Colts, and then died in a car accident.
Oh, man.
Amazing story.
It's a great story.
Great film. And I would say, and don't care what Rotten Tomatoes says. Those guys don't get faith-based because there is a strong faith element to his story. Mm-hmm. But it's not a pushy faith element. It's more about a kid who didn't let people say you can't, and he just went and worked harder than anybody else. And so it was a good one. So I just want to
see that.
I want folks to know.
I think you might like the story.
This is a movie you want to see. Only student athlete football to graduate with his master's degree before he played his last college football game. Only walk-on, highest drafted walk-on. There's just all kind of things about this kid that just make you go, "This is a kid who just didn't take no, didn't take can't, and overcame." So that was one that opened last Friday. Came in at like whatever I said, 16, 19, something like that. But it's because they didn't market well. I'll tell you what else. I wish I know the guy's name. There's some actors in this film that you'll recognize. And one of my favorites, I don't know if you watch the show Suits. Either of y'all watch that show?
I've seen it.
I saw the first season.
Well, this season there's a prosecutor on there, a federal prosecutor. It's the guy, stark white hair, very, very blue eyes, plays a bad guy a lot of times.
He plays a bad guy in everything he's in. I know who you're talking about. I've never seen him in a good role.
No, he plays a guy in this, but he's a strong Christian in Hollywood.
Wow.
Which folks don't realize about him.
No, because he's one of the really good bad guys out there now.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Well, he plays
Does he play Houston Nutt?
No, he plays the brother of Burlsworth, the older brother who is old enough that he's mistaken for the dad a lot of times.
Okay.
And he was a photographer, and kind of a fun deal. In the movie where he's taking pictures on the sidelines, forgets to put his lens on his camera, and the photographer next to him says, "Hey, you may want to put your lens on." Well, that's Burlsworth's real brother, plays that guy.
Okay.
And there's some Arkansas football folks will love it because there's some Arkansas coaches and players who have these cameos in different roles,
Sure.
like the announcer and stuff like that. So it makes for, if you guys, I think, would like it because of your sports understanding. So that's
right.
That's another one that opened this past weekend that I spent a little bit extra time on, but really think it's worth seeing, especially if you're interested in kind of really solid movies with good character issues going on behind the scenes. So, and like I said, I know we're taking Beulah's football team is Campus Life's taking them this Thursday, and then next Thursday we're taking Opelika's and Booker T. Washington's team. They're going to go see
From
that
Tuskegee?
one together from Tuskegee.
Okay.
We're working with Auburn and Lee Scott and some others. We're going to get them there if they want to go. We're going to, and we got great coaches. Our coaches in this area love stuff like this and for their kids. So anyway, that was one I definitely wanted you to know about. And again, if you got a child involved in any athletics, sadly, today's the last day to see the movie about the girls' track team. I'm not even going to go there. Why would I do that to you? But another faith-based film that nobody knew was coming out.
Yeah.
Was out. It was here for a week, and now it's gone.
I had no idea. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know.
Well, it's just frustrating sometimes. I get frustrated with the faith-based crowd when they don't do something excellent that should be done excellent. But hey, with that in mind, let's take a break. We'll be back in a moment, talk about a couple that were out and what's coming out right here on the Big Screen Movie Reviews.
Hooray for Hollywood.
This is the Big Screen Movie Review, brought to you by your Auburn and Opelika Domino's, the official delicious pizza of the Auburn Tigers. Brandon Burlsworth is the guy's name we were talking about last segment.
Brandon Wordsworth, yeah. Hey, and
I remember after that happened, going to an SEC media days, Houston Nutt talked about, just in glowing remarks about Burlsworth. This was, of course, after his death, but it's a great story. If you have a chance to see the movie, and it's portrayed well, it's an outstanding story.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is it. You got to see it this weekend or through next Thursday because it won't be. It may be carried if we sell enough tickets, but don't count on it. Hey, Don't Breathe opened last weekend. That was the movie about the 3 teenagers that decided they needed some money, and they knew there was a safe in the basement of the blind guy's house, so they went in to break in, rob him, get the money, get out of town, get out of a bad situation. So it's like they portrayed it as these aren't really bad kids. There's a good reason they're robbing this blind man, and and then you got the blind guy is kind of looks like the bad guy because they broke in and it's one of those deals where you're going, okay, kids, you really thought if the guy turned out the lights, you were going to win this fight.
Right.
And then who has the edge? Of course, everybody's got a flashlight on their phones. But that one came in number 1 this past weekend, bumped Suicide Squad. So there you have it. The other one, one of the other ones that opened was Mechanic Resurrection. This one, the critics hated. Even the folks who saw it, it only got a 50 from the audience, which is very unusual because usually the audience knows somewhat what they're walking into and they're going to just like it because they had an idea. But this is Jason Statham plays Arthur Bishop. He was in the Mechanic, which was the original of this, that was the remake of the 1972 film by the same name. Jessica Alba is grabbed to get her back. He's got to complete the assassinations that he was supposed to do in the first movie, or he's got to say, I don't really love her, and let her die. So he's got those choices. He decides he does care about her. So his specialty is killing these really bad people and making it look like accidents. So that's what he's got to do in this one. So there you have it. I'm not going to tell you if he pulls it off or not. We will say there'll probably be a Mechanic 3 re-resurrected, or I don't even know what they're going to call that, but they'll probably have that one. We told you about Grader, which opened last weekend. The only other one that opened last weekend that did not do really well, as a matter of fact, was Hands of Stone. That's the Roberto Duran movie. It actually scored higher on the Rotten Tomatoes critic scale than the other two. But this is the story of Duran, who started boxing at 16, ended at 50. The crux of the story comes in when he fights Sugar Ray, beats him, and then he ends up in his corner for a rematch and talks that it ain't gonna happen. No mas, no mas. That's the one quote. Everybody sits in the movie waiting to hear that, and they go, I'm not sure that was worth $10. But anyway, that's that one. The two that are opening tomorrow. This was the first time, guys, I've seen a movie in a long time get a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes. It has since climbed up from there, and it's actually approaching the 40s, but it's The Light Between Oceans. It's based on the novel that actually my wife really enjoyed. I would see this movie because it's filmed in New Zealand and Australia. That looks good. It's got A-list actors. I mean, it's got a couple of Oscar winners with Michael Fassbender, and it's got he's won Golden Globes. He's won other things. So it's got a good acting crew in this thing, but it's just a slow soap opera film.
She can't have a baby, then they find a baby in a boat.
Right. And then later the crisis comes when they go on shore. They live in a lighthouse just offshore.
Yes.
So it's beautiful, slow-moving, soap opera-ish, Lifetime TV, made-for-TV kind of movie.
Big Screen Movie Reviews for this week brought to you by your Auburn and Opelika Dominoes. Stay tuned. Hour number 3 of Auburn Opelika this morning on the way.